it will be difficult to identify it because the current Bible, which is the New Testament, has passed through several transitions. Some will tell you 55 versions. Some will tell you it is written by unanimous.
Every New Testament is the same, brother. I don't know what you're talking about.
100 years later, some says 50 years later, some says 500 years later. So it will be difficult to have the correct injeel today.
So you're saying that
compared to the Quran, which is 1,400
we're not comparing the
years ago.
Quran, brother. Please, please stay focused on the injeel. So you're saying,
sure.
You're saying that the injeel is not the New Testament that we have today. Is that correct? Okay. How do you know that what I have in the New Testament is not the injeel?
Can you repeat it again, please?
Oh, I asked you just as a clarifying question. You're saying that the injeel we have are you saying that the New Testament that we have today is not the injeel?
Has passed through several changes before reaching today to call it the last.
His connection is going out. As soon as I start talking to him, it's crazy.
Oh, I didn't even know that was happening.
There are mathematical errors. Some of these New Testament, there are historical errors. Which, if you doubt, I can mention them to you.
Your connection went out.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Am I in now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So you're answering how you know that the New Testament is not the injeel.
Yes.
And so how do you know that?
I know it because there are the Old Testament, which is the purest form, could have been preserved and maintained like other scripts are. But then this script, which is the Old Testament, has passed through different transition.
No, I'm talking about the New Testament, brother, not the Old Testament, the New Testament. How do you know that the New Testament is not the injeel?
And that's what I'm telling you. The Old Testament.
You're telling me about the Old Testament.
Yeah, the Old Testament is the injeel. The New Testament is not the injeel because it has passed through different changes. Different authors.
Jesus wasn't going around preaching in the Old Testament. That's the New Testament, my friend.
No, Jesus was preaching, and then he was not writing because Jesus was not a writer.
Yeah, but that's
Jesus
not
was
the Old
preaching.
Testament. Jesus comes after the Old Testament is already finished.
No, the New Testament came more than 500 years after the death of Christ, or after the ascending of Christ to the heaven.
What is the last book of the Old Testament?
No, be honest here, I don't know that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, the last book of the Old Testament comes 200 years before Jesus was born. So the Old Testament was finished hundreds of years before Jesus was born, my friend. Okay?
Okay. Was Mark, Matthew, Luke present in the same year with Jesus?
Yeah, they were there in the same era as Jesus. They were in the first century.
No, can I have evidence of this, please? Can you please give me references where I can tap on this?
Yeah, so Jesus lived in the first century. You understand that, right?
Yes, very well.
Okay. So, and in the first century, Jesus had 12 disciples. Among them, one of them was Matthew. You'll find this in Matthew chapter 10 and other verses too. But you find this in Matthew chapter 10, which is a first century document. You got Matthew, who's one of the disciples. John is one of the disciples. And Peter is one of the disciples. You find in the book of Acts, which is still a first century document, this is where you'll find mentions of John Mark specifically, the one who wrote the gospel according to Mark. And then you'll see mention of Luke as well, who shows up. So Luke is the one who wrote Acts. Okay. All of these people were there in the first century. 3 of them were direct disciples of Jesus. The other 2 came right after Jesus ascended and accompanied the disciples after Jesus left the earth.
But what you just mentioned here, when I made a quick search on it, it says Mark is considered as the first writer of the gospel, but then he only wrote this after Jesus.
Yes, but that's still the first century. You see how?
But it's after him.
Yeah,
so don't you think he can make contradictions when writing this? Then if he should write this after
not at all, my friend. Like for example, The injeel that the Quran is telling you about, does it tell you when it was written?
It was said it was given to Jesus. The year was not mentioned in the Quran, but it says the book given to Jesus was injeel.
Good point. Now, the Quran also goes forward to tell us about a written injeel that existed in Muhammad's time that the Christians had in their possession. You familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a written injeel, right? Now, Jesus, I think you would agree, Jesus in the Quran, when it says he's given the injeel, he's not given an actual physical written book that Allah sent down from heaven, right? It's an oral revelation that Allah gives him. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So later on, somehow down the line, the message of Jesus, the injeel that was originally oral, also got written down. And the Quran points to that as the injeel that the Christians have with them. So the question is, that written injeel that the Quran affirms, when was that written?
I know it's the time of Jesus, Isa.
All right. How do you know that?
Because it says in the Quran, a book that has no historical evidence of mathematical error, no scientific error. It is said in there that the Injil was given to Jesus. This was not at my time, but it's a book I used to reference myself. A book that is tested in multiple areas, be it in mathematical side, test on scientific, test on historical evidence, and it was not found corrupt in any way, nor are there any evidence of giving misleading or false information. So I relied on this book for the evidence.
Yeah, I'm specifically talking about the injil. It sounds like you're giving like a defense for the Quran for some reason. I'm not talking about.
I'm not giving a defense. I try to do that because I am giving you from the book that I got my source from.
Yeah, I know. I know. So you're giving a defense of the Quran and why you trust the Quran, which is not what I'm addressing right now. I'm addressing what the Quran says about the injil, the information it gives you about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we already know that Jesus was given an oral message called the injil. And then later on, that oral message was written down. Jesus was not given a written book. Okay? The written book came later.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the written form of the Injil, the written book, was also written in Jesus's time. Where does the Quran tell you that?
The Quran never said to me, or have I ever seen any verse in there? The Quran contains 6,666 verses. There's nowhere it says it was written at this time. It was said that the book given to Jesus is Injil.
Right. Okay, good. So this means that you don't know when the Injil was written. It could have been written in his lifetime, or like when he was here on earth, or it could have been written after he ascended and was taken up to Allah. Right?
Then if that's the case, it will have been said in the Quran that the book came after him, but it says the book was given to him.
No, not necessarily at all. It says, again, because somebody, you keep going back to the book given to Jesus. Yes. I need you to understand what I'm talking about, because I understand what you're saying. I need you to try to understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the oral revelation that was given to Jesus. I'm talking about the written form of it. Okay? The written book.
Okay, what language was it written? Wasn't it Aramaic?
That's a good question. What does the Quran tell us what language the Injil was written in?
The Quran didn't say it, but it was said, what I know from preachers and from conversations like such, it was written in Aramaic.
Okay, so how would you know that it was written in Aramaic? Where would you get that from, that it was in Aramaic?
Because why they said so is it came to this at the time, the place Jesus was living, the language spoken was Aramaic.
How do you know the place that Jesus was living and the language he was speaking? Where are you getting this information from? What's the source?
Like earlier I told you, the conversations, like such conversations, and with my other Christian friends too.
Yeah, but where are they getting it from?
Well, these are information given to me by Christians, and if I will assume the geographical location of this is in Israel. And
but where are they getting it from? Something's telling these Christians that Jesus lived in Israel, that he spoke Aramaic, and he lived in the 1st century. Something is telling them this. Where are they getting this from?
Well, I don't know, to be honest with you. I never asked. When they said it to me, I find it convincing, I accept it.
I got you. It comes from the New Testament. It comes from the New Testament. It's the New Testament that tells us what language Jesus spoke. It's the New Testament that tells us where Jesus lived, where he was from, who his family was, who he preached to, who his disciples were. All of these historical facts that we get about Jesus is from the New Testament. So you're pulling from the New Testament facts about Jesus while also rejecting it as being the injeel. Do you see how that's kind of backwards?
Yeah, no, it's not backward or awkward. It is something that I'm telling you. To say the book is corrupt, there are other verses that could be pure, preserved, and well maintained. Others could be changed for any other reason, based on the person who changed.
All right, how do you know that the verses that tell us that Jesus was walking around in Israel, in the land of Israel, and that Jesus spoke the Aramaic language? How do you know that those verses are not corrupted?
Because these are historical evidence with accurate information indicating that yes, Jesus lived in this particular geographical
How do you know
location.
that those are factual evidences and not just corruptions that people added in?
It's even also mentioned in the Quran.
There it is right there. Show me where in the Quran it tells you Jesus spoke Aramaic, and show me where in the Quran where it tells you Jesus was walking around in the land of Israel.
No, I made that very clear. I haven't seen any verse in the Quran that says that Jesus spoke. Yeah, I have not seen it. He lived in there because he is from the Bani Israel.
That doesn't mean anything. The children of Israel were everywhere, brother. They were scattered all over the place. How do you know that Jesus was in the land of Israel speaking Aramaic? How do you know that information in the New Testament is actually accurate?
Because it's an information that I believe in and I accept it. And then
I know you believe in and accept it, but that doesn't make it true. How do you know that it's true? How do you know that it's accurate? Saying that I believe it doesn't mean anything to me.
I connected it because I didn't live during that time when they shared it with me, and the version I have in the Quran matches, so I accept it.
Wait, stop, please.
Yeah.
What in your Quran matches what the Bible is telling you, the New Testament is telling you, that Jesus spoke Aramaic and was walking around in the land of Israel? Your Quran doesn't say anything about this.
Yeah, but then the Quran says he's from the Bani Israel, and he shared the message to the Bani Israel.
Okay, does your Quran tell you where Bani Israel was?
The location is not mentioned, but then historically.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I'm going by the historical fact to indicate that, like today, you tell me the Arabs, I will tell you the Middle East. Though they are in the West, in North Africa, but then they are mainly
you're missing the point again, my brother. When you tell me that when you cherry pick from the New Testament what you choose to believe in and what you choose not to, that your position is already on murky like mud. Like you have nothing to stand. It has no basis. Because you're just picking and choosing what disagrees with you, you disregard it. What agrees with you, you take it.
No, I never did that. What you said, if I agree, I tell you I agree. But if you share something that I am not, I will tell you I don't know. And if you share something that I know,
that's not what I'm saying again. Okay, here it is again.
Sure.
You're pulling from the New Testament and saying that it's not the injeel, while at the same time pulling from the New Testament your facts about Jesus. So you can't say, actually these facts about Jesus in the New Testament, these are the true verses. These verses weren't correct.
I said there are some verses that are corrupted according to our belief, and then there are others that are
How
preserved.
do you know? Again, listen to the question.
But I answered that. I said I match them with what my book tells me, the Quran, which is found to be not corrupted.
Sam, I don't want to go in circles with you, my brother. I don't want to go in circles with you. I want you to try your hardest to comprehend my question. Please.
You are refusing to accept my question. You want me to answer them like you want to hear, and I cannot do that. Okay. I'm giving you my answer.
I got you.
Cannot force me to answer.
You said that whatever goes with your book tells you that some verses are corrupted, some verses are good. That's what you said, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see how I can understand what you're saying? Do the same for me. Now here's my question.
Yeah.
How do you know that the verses that say Jesus spoke Aramaic and that Jesus was walking around in the land of Israel are not corrupted verses? Does your Quran tell you that?
How many times do you want me to answer that? I said I have not seen any verses like such. You told me, how do I know about it? I told you, through conversations like such, I'm having a conversation with my Christian colleagues. They are telling me Jesus spoke in Aramaic. And the Old Testament is written in that.
So listen to what you're saying. Your position is that your Quran tells you what's corrupted and what isn't, right?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Your Quran, though, doesn't tell you anything about Jesus' language. It doesn't tell you anything about where Jesus lived and where he was from.
The language doesn't matter.
So when your Quran
the message is what is more important.
Listen to my question.
Okay, bring your question.
When the Quran is silent on certain issues, how do you know that the New Testament is getting it right when the Quran doesn't mention it?
Equally, that will be a common sense to me to understand if there is a verse which is corrupted or there is a misleading questions. Example, if I go to...
so now it's not about the Quran, now it's about your common sense. Do you see how your standards shift?
No. You see, this is where I was looking at. You were trying to put words in my mouth to answer how you want them. I cannot do that.
I'm putting words in my mouth. Breathe. Am I tripping?
That's what you're doing.
Not just say his common sense?
His common.
No.
He said his common sense tells him, right?
Why would no. Don't just speak. Don't just speak a word from my statement. Don't just pick only one word from a statement. You
one
said
word.
And I said the context. That's the only word you pick now. The only one you pick that is the common sense. When I shared to you, okay. Let's just go to John 5.
No, we're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to go anywhere.
You know what you saw there. That's why you don't want your audience.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely
if you are
right.
truthful, bring it in there. That's where Jesus said
you're absolutely right. Now answer the question. How do you know that the parts that the Quran doesn't touch on, how do you know the New Testament got those things right or wrong? How do you know?
Then I will have to use my common sense to justify those now.
So you do use your man, get off the stage. You see how dumb you sound?
No, you sound dumb because you want me to speak.
Get off the freaking stage. You full of contradictions. You sound silly. Watch your head, man. Just gonna repeat what I repeat when I repeated what you said. I repeated what you repeated, that you repeated what I repeated, what you said, I repeated. Dumb, bro. Dumb religion. Y'all just lie, y'all play dumb, or actually are dumb. It's either one or the other. Either you are genuinely a stupid person or you're just playing dumb so that you don't have Islam fall to the arguments. But either way, you guys just look ridiculous, man. Dumb religion, bro.